Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to share with you 10 reasons you should consider driving for DoorDash or another food delivery app. For those of you who are just new to my channel, for the longest time I had been strictly an Uber driver. Then I kind of transitioned into Uber and Lyft just to see the benefits and analyze there. And now for a short period, I'm strictly doing DoorDash, except for doing destination filters on Uber and Lyft to and from work, and a destination filter to and from working my DoorDash area if I'm not working around where I live. We're gonna go through 10 reasons you should consider doing DoorDash if you've been a rideshare driver for a long time and maybe looking for a change or just to shake things up a little bit. These are in my limited experience doing DoorDash. I have about 100 trips under my belt now on my quest to do 200 deliveries. Number one is you get a break from people. I've had a lot of comments from drivers who say they don't talk to their passengers or they think it's stupid, just shut up and drive. I tend to believe, and actually I know this is fact, that if you engage with your passengers and they have a positive experience with you, they're more likely to tip. That is just flat out fact. The same thing if you get good service at a restaurant, and you have an engaging waiter or waitress, you're more likely to tip and tip higher, depending on the quality of service. Whereas when you drive with DoorDash, you don't have to talk to anyone. You literally don't talk to anyone. I've a few times I've had to make phone calls when I got to the person's address, whether it be a school or a hospital or something, or a business, just to get kind of some clarification where to go inside. But for the most part, it is a nameless, faceless transaction. If you're kind of tired of dealing with people, especially if you deal with a lot of drunk people at night and you're just looking for a little transition, that is one huge positive of not doing rideshare and doing food deliveries. You just don't have to deal with anyone. Number two is you're not confined to your car for an entire day. For those of you who watched a lot of my videos, I like to do these like 10, 12 hour rideshare marathons where I just drive literally all day, seldomly taking breaks. Maybe I'll step out to stretch, because my leg literally is like throbbing from getting tight from pressing the brake pedal on the LA freeways. When you're driving with DoorDash, you get out of your car all the time. You get to, you get periodic breaks where you're just like sitting in the restaurant, waiting for 5 minutes or so for food. You get to walk to and from the restaurant, to and from someone's house, so you get a nice break from your car. You're not constantly sitting in your car. If you drive in an urban center, just sitting in traffic and the stress of that, it's hard to put a price on what that's worth, just to be able to be out in the world and not to be stuck in this metal box. Number three, and this might be my personal favorite, something that I've come to really enjoy doing food delivery, is you can work on your mental and temporal development. In the past month or so, I've been privileged to listen to a ton of podcasts regarding physical health and strength, regarding mental fortitude and goal setting, and just motivational speakers. Guys like Eric Thomas, incredible. Rob Dial, Tony Robbins, these incredible motivational speakers who kind of help you to evaluate and assess your life. And it doesn't matter what the area is. If you're wanting to work on mindfulness, or you're wanting to work on planning and time management, like there are so many podcasts out there you're able to listen to. Unlike when you're driving rideshare, you can listen to literally whatever the heck you want. If you listen to death metal and that's what you like, your passengers, a majority of them might not like that. But if that's what you like, that's what you get to listen to all the time with that, unabated. And that's kind of nice to have just unadulterated time to yourself to work on your own mental and temporal development. And that's something that you definitely don't get in as much abundance when you're driving rideshare. Number four, for people that are in school, you might appreciate this, is you have an opportunity to get your work done. There was one day I went out and drove DoorDash for about 4 or 5 hours, and I brought my laptop with me. And during that time, you know, the downtime, sometimes you'll have 5 minutes in between when you finish your trip and your next trip. You have a couple minutes in the restaurant while you're just waiting. Wingstop. I was able to edit an entire video, like a 15-minute video, over the course of 5 hours, just dedicating 5-10 minutes here, just jump back into it. And that's kind of nice if you're working on papers, or you got other work that research that you have to do. You just bring your laptop along, and you have some downtime that you can actually pump some of that work out. I think I've found that you do get a little bit of downtime with Uber and Lyft, but not nearly as much. When you get a trip request, you have to go straight there, right? With Uber and Lyft, you got to go straight there. Where a lot of times on DoorDash, it'll say, hey, you have to pick up by X time. And you're like, well, that's only 7 minutes away. It's giving me 12 minutes to get there. If you're in the middle of something, you can spend an extra 5 minutes finishing off that little task before you head and get the food, which I think is really cool. So you're able to get things done on somebody else's time. Number 5, and this is what my wife and I have found pretty dang cool. You start noticing restaurants that you just didn't know existed, or especially in proximity to where you live, possibly. There have been so many times I've picked up from a restaurant that was nearby where I live. I'm like, wow, I had no idea this was here, and I would have never found it. Sushi restaurant that I picked up from that was not far from our house. My wife loves sushi. She doesn't know this place exists yet, and so I'm kind of excited to take her to this little hole-in-the-wall place that I found that DoorDash paid me to find, that's going to help me have an epic experience with my wife. So you get to find new restaurants and just explore your little paradigm in a way you probably haven't before. Number 6. Now, for some of you, it might not be that meaningful, but for me, I just found it is very impactful for me to let me know that I am making a tangible difference, even though I'm just I'm out there picking up food for people and dropping it off. It just seems like a pretty trivial and menial task, but you can actually make a tangible difference in someone's life. There have been a few experiences where I delivered to people in rest homes, one in a wheelchair, and one time I had a guy come out on crutches. He crutched his way out from the front door to pick up his food. And I just thought it was so cool that there's no way, a few of these people, there was no way they would have been able to drive and pick this up, and no real other way. I'm sure they could, they could order a pizza from Domino's, but to get something that they wanted to eat, there aren't too many options aside from DoorDash and Postmates to be able to get them food without costing them an arm and a leg to do it. Number 7, and this is so true. Anyone that's done rideshare and food delivery will, they will give this an ultra thumbs up if they know how true this is. You will not put the exorbitant number of miles on your car that you do when you're driving rideshare. So the way that DoorDash works is you work within an area perimeter, meaning that all the restaurants that you can pick up from at any given time during your scheduled block will be within that perimeter. And so you are not driving that far to pick up and drop off to people. Most of them are within like 3 or 4 miles between where I'm starting when I get the request to the restaurant, to the person's house, to being done, 3-4 miles, which is fantastic. And so, a lot of people complain about how much of a scam doing rideshare is because of the exorbitant miles you're putting on your car, your gas, blah, 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 the wear and tear on your shocks, your brakes, your tires. You just won't experience as much of that. And for some of you that are on a budget and you can't afford to have, your car break down, this might be a nice relief from the stress of worrying about it. Number 8. Now, for those of you who are not neat freaks, you'll find this to be welcome news. You don't have to worry about keeping your car spotless all the time because no one's getting in your car. You have your DoorDash red bag. I just keep that in the car. I don't have to worry about the condition of my back seat. If I want to throw my backpack and some clothes, I don't really care. I finish a water bottle, I just want to chuck it back there and I'll clean it up after I'm done for the day. I don't have to worry about that when I'm driving DoorDash. If any of you have driven enough, you got to keep your car washed. Your car, the seats, you got to keep all the random hair, the tumbleweaves that come out in your car. Don't deal with that when you drive DoorDash. So it just saves you the headache of having to keep your car spick and span. Number 9, and especially women might appreciate this. You won't have to search for a bathroom or cut off your app to be able to find a bathroom when you're in a pinch. You're constantly going into restaurants that have public bathrooms, and so every 20 minutes or so you're going to have the opportunity to use the bathroom. For some of you, that's awesome, because there could be times when you're driving rideshare where that's just not an option. Just like you're in a residential area, you're on the freeway, you got long trips. How many times have you driven rideshare and you had an hour long or a 90-minute trip, right? And heaven forbid you have to use a bathroom during that trip and you can't do anything about it. Your trips are usually less than 15 minutes long. From where you are to a restaurant might be 10 minutes at most. And so you're going to have an opportunity to use the bathroom every 20 to 30 minutes, which is, for some, that's really a godsend. And number 10, last but not least, is you will never be far from home when you finish. One of the things that I know people hate about rideshare, there are obviously parts of every city that are better suited for rideshare. We'll call it rideshare performance. They're just better suited for making more money, making more tips, and where you live might not be one of those areas typically, right? So you might have to drive far to get to an area it's really hopping for rideshare. And guess what? At the end of the day, you don't really have a choice. When you decide to come home, you're coming home from wherever that area was, right? Like if I took a trip and it's 2 p.m. and I'm planning on being out till 6 p.m., but somebody wants to go from LAX to Bakersfield, well, guess what? Now I'm in Bakersfield and it's 5 o'clock and I have to come home from Bakersfield. I'm sure that's happened to lots of people. With rideshare, you could be literally, I've definitely had it happen where I was 90 minutes from home. When I was ready to be done, I was 90 minutes from home in the middle of traffic, and I put on a destination filter and I come home. With DoorDash and other food delivery apps, you work a particular area. If I'm working the area that I live in, I'm never more than 15 minutes away from my home at any time. At any time I'm ready to be done or my session is over, I cut the app off and I've got less than 15 minutes to get home. I put on a destination filter from wherever I'm at until I get home. If I don't get a ride, I'm getting those miles deducted on Uber and Lyft. For those of you that feel like you just waste a lot of dead time and dead miles, you'll find that to be pretty dang awesome. For those of you maybe a little hesitant to jump into food delivery, you just find it maybe kind of embarrassing, whatever, I just wanted to kind of point you in the right direction and see if this might be something that's for you. If you thought of something that I didn't mention besides these 10, please go ahead and leave me a comment down below so that you can kind of inform and improve and enhance the experience of other people that are trying to make a transition and jump into food delivery over rideshare. Guys, again, as always, thank you so much for watching. God bless you and have a great day.